Everyone responsible for the maintenance of equipment knows the value of proper lubrication in extending equipment and machine life when metal moves against metal. In terms of lubrication, there are three basic considerations: the quality of the lubricant, the frequency of lubrication, and the use of additives. Chances are you're using a lubricant that is as good as or better than that specified by your equipment manufacturer, and you follow properly scheduled lubrication procedures. As far as additives are concerned, well, there are differing opinions on their use and effectiveness. The new way to reduce metal-to-metal abrasion. It's called Petron Plus, a proven petroleum metal treatment that is not an oil additive, nor does it contain Teflon or graphites, moly, or other potentially harmful solids or chemicals. Petron Plus does not alter the chemistry of your existing lubricant. It works with all petroleum-based or synthetic industrial lubricants and uses them as a carrier to reach metal surfaces that need protection. What this means is Petron Plus treats the metal surfaces, not the lubricant. Petron Plus has one of the highest shear points and exceeds many of the protective properties of common industrial lubricants. It works so well, you have to see it to believe it, which is why we've arranged this laboratory demonstration. We force a Timken test brace and test bearing together on an extreme pressure machine. Notice the energy it takes to run the machine with no load and no resistance. Now we'll add a good motor oil and apply pressure. Resistance increases, and the RPMs drop. Now, look how little it takes to stop it. At 25 pounds of pressure, the motor can't start again. And look at the scarring and wear on the bearing from just this short run. Next, we'll add a top-selling oil additive. Note the readings now. And the bearing is worn just as badly as without the additive. Now let's try the test again. Only this time we'll add Petron Plus to the motor oil. We're at 25 pounds of pressure, where the machine stopped before. We can switch it off, then start it again easily under a full load with Petron. It takes no more amperage to start the machine under a full load than it does with no load at all. And there's only a drop from 5 to 7 RPMs. Now, let's really bear down and see what it takes to stop the motor with Petron Plus in action. We're at 6 times the pressure it took to stop the motor with a good motor oil and a top additive, and the motor's still running, with only a slight increase in resistance and only a drop of 25 to 30 RPMs. Now, let's compare wear. What a difference. That's because Petron Plus is a metal treatment, not an oil additive. Petron adheres to the metal and significantly decreases wear and energy requirements caused by friction between moving parts. Now, we'll take a look at the Petron bearing. Rotate it to an unused spot and test it again. We won't use any lubricant this time. Only the Petron Plus that has permeated the bearing from the first test. Look at the readings this time. We still can't stop the motor, even under maximum pressure. And the energy it takes to operate the machine remains incredibly low. Now let's check the wear and scarring on the bearing again. Maximum pressure was applied, and still the Petron protected bearing shows only minor wear. You've seen how Petron Plus is a petroleum metal treatment designed to penetrate the pores of metal surfaces and provide a lubricating action not possible with other petroleum substances or additives. Petron Plus uses your existing system lubricant as a carrier to reach and penetrate metal surfaces. And it does not alter the chemistry of those lubricants or harm them in any way. It can be used with any synthetic or petroleum-based industrial lubricant. Petron Plus has been laboratory and field tested, certified, and proven safe for use with virtually any type of gasket or sealing material. These tests show that Petron Plus has one of the highest shear points in the lubrication industry, and its protective properties exceed that of most common industrial solid coatings, such as Teflon, graphite, moly, and so forth. Petron Plus is environmentally safe, requires no special handling or storage, and is as easy to use as any petroleum lubricant. It is stable under temperature extremes, working equally well under hot or cold conditions. And in addition to providing long-lasting protection, Petron Plus is extremely anti-corrosive and is moisture resistant. However, regardless of all the features that have been tested in the laboratory, the real test of any product is in its use in the field under a variety of conditions. Here are excerpts from real comments by maintenance supervisors, plant managers, and others who have used Petron Plus.
We mentioned at the beginning of our program that Petron Plus Formula 7 products have been used extensively in factories, large machinery, and industrial plants worldwide for over 16 years. To give you an idea of how well Petron Plus products reduce friction, take a look at this. Cape Girardeau, Missouri, home of Lone Star Industries, Incorporated. Lone Star is one of the 6 largest manufacturers of Portland cement in the United States. When Lone Star experienced a major failure involving a 50-ton trunnion assembly in January of 1986, plant manager Harry Phillip treated the damaged assembly with Petron Plus. Listen to how he describes the results.
This trunnion shaft got scratches in it. A scratch on a polished surface is a major thing. This thing had scratches all the way through the shaft. Typically I would have shut down, but I said, I know, I got this Petron stuff over there. Just maybe this will work. So I had the maintenance department go over and get the Petron, dump the sumps out, fill this oil reservoir with this new oil. It didn't do any cleanup on the shaft, but just cleaned it out with some fresh oil. Close the door, we put the Petron in. Now, I got to tell you, this kill was down for the count, and I was thinking about getting cranes in, about getting people in, how I was going to get this equipment in Milwaukee to get turned down. I brought this kill online in 3 hours. We kept the heat in the kill, and it stayed online till we shut down March of that year. And I couldn't believe it. In fact, Alice Chalmers' representative came into the plant. We disassembled the bearing. Now, we hadn't seen the nature, the extent of the failure. And what had happened is this entire shaft was scratched all the way through, and so was the bearing. It was just amazing how this thing worked. Without the Petron Plus, I wouldn't even try to come back online. I would have shut down. I would have brought the maintenance crews in. We would have been down for a week and a half on unscheduled outage to do whatever it is to do. And in industry, unscheduled outage just lost money. And if you have one scratch in that surface, you can't run it. And this thing didn't have one scratch. It had gouges in it. I mean, it had 60 thousandths of a gouge all the way. That was one, and it was just one right after the other, all the way across that bearing face. And it ran. And that was the amazing part. See, I'm convinced of this thing.
Kansas is the home of windy weather and its potentially damaging effects. It's also the home of Ray Roofing, one of the state's largest commercial and residential roofing businesses. How does a company that's always busy keep its fleet on the road and its tools of the trade in top condition?
How do you protect that investment?
Overhaul costs are one of the most expensive costs on a maintenance of a truck. And if you can really lengthen the time before you need an overhaul, that's the best way to protect your investment. And we really are doing that by using Petron Plus products.
Have you used Petron Plus products in any of your other vehicles?
We don't bring a vehicle on our yard without changing oil and putting Petron Plus in.
Tell me about this particular piece of equipment.
This is a Reeves roof cutter. This particular machine has got a Briggs & Stratton engine on it.
Isn't that what they use in lawnmowers?
Yes, a lot of mowers, yes. And we run this engine sometimes 8 to 10 hours a day. And we were going through about 5 engines a month with just the wear and tear of the equipment. We've been using the Petron Plus for about 6 years in our trucks, and we just decided that why not try it in our machinery. And so about 6 months ago, we just put it in everything. And we have not replaced, up to today, we have not replaced an engine.
So Petron Plus products are saving you money.
It has turned things around for us.
Another fan of Petron Plus products is Leroy Stockamer, a supervisor with the Federal Aviation Administration. This antenna pedestal has to operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Since they started using Petron's high-temp lithium complex grease for its lubrication, he reports they've been able to reduce the frequency of greasing by 75%. He adds, "We used to overhaul the pedestal every 5 years, but it looks like we will be able to extend this from 8 to 10 years now. We are extremely pleased with the results." Petron Plus has been tested and approved by one of the world's largest independent testing facilities. Let a Petron Plus product specialist analyze your plant and equipment and show you how Petron Plus can help you expand wear life on high-maintenance components.